Hello, my skating peoples, and welcome to the finale of figure skating. You know what time it is. That means Worlds is here, and it is taking place again in Boston at the Boston TD Gardens. And Boston, think of the Tea Party, the Bruins, the Great Molasses Flood of 1918. But it is also a big Worlds, Brenda, because it is Olympic qualifying year.
And that's huge, right? Because, of course, everyone's going to be nervous going to a World Championships, but a World Championships in a pre-Olympic year, what does that mean? Well, quota spots, right? So let's say in Canadian pairs figure skating, are you going to be able to send 1, 2, or the maximum 3 skaters to the Olympic Games? It all depends on how the athletes do here in Boston this week.
And of course, we try to be a little bit impartial, but we are hoping for max spots for the Canadian figure skaters here. And we will be talking, of course, Olympic spots. We'll be talking the tribute to the victims of the American flight 5342, and some little skating news. And of course, our medal contenders. Who do we think we're going to win? I think we're going to finally agree 100%.
I doubt it.
I'm scared. But before we get into all of that, we have a very handsome man on the ground. Devin Heroux is live at the TD Gardens, giving us all of the info, the vibes, the everything. So let's go to Devin Heroux.
Hello, figure skating fans. Brenda, Asher, welcome inside TD Garden. The scene is set, and it looks spectacular in here. Come on side. Take a look at this. The kiss and cry right over there. That's where the skaters are going to learn their fate. And from there, check this out, the newly added winner circle. So the idea behind this is that the skaters, if they're in that first place position, will then move from the couch over to the chairs, and they'll take their place on the throne until, of course, they're dethroned. So today there's a lot happening right down here on ice level as the skaters get some valuable practice time here at the main rink. About 5 minutes down the road from here, there's a practice rink as well. So they're rotating between the two places. Had a chance to catch up with Maddie Skizis, the Canadian, of course, getting ready. She is so confident. She was so happy with her training here this morning. She'll be back on the ice later today. And just a short time ago, I talked to the defending world pairs champions, Deanna Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps. It's been a up and down season by their own admission this year. But what they told me after this practice in this grand stage is that they feel as ready as they have felt for a competition all season long. So watch out. In fact, let me add that Max said he feels just like he did before competing in Montreal 1 year ago. We know how that ended up. They became world champions. So you can see the fans are gathering here for practice. Those figure skating fans, they are diehard, and they are ready for this no ordinary world championship because, of course, these are high stakes with Olympic quota spots on the line. It's complicated, so I'll leave that to you, Brenda and Asher, to take us through all of that. But you want to get on the podium. You want to place as high as possible so that you can secure spots for Canada for the Games in Italy less than a year from now. It'll be a charged atmosphere and emotional, no doubt, because there will be a legacy and remembrance tribute here tomorrow for the victims of that horrific crash. Of course, 28 figure skaters, coaches, parents, killed in that horrific mid-air collision. And so we know that the figure skating community is tight-knit. You could feel it. It sent a shockwave throughout this city, country, and around the world. The Figure Skating Club of Boston is the organizing committee. They lost some of their skaters and some of their members. So they're going to honor the victims here. Doug Lane, one of the dads of a young up-and-comer, a promising figure skater, Spencer Lane, who was killed. He'll be speaking. Like I said, it'll be emotional. We will keep our eye on everything here, right here from ice level throughout all of it. So that's a scene from the TD Garden. Asher and Brenda, I'll have all the sights and sounds, and I know you're ready. I'm ready. The Canadian figure skaters, all 16 of them here in Boston, are ready as well.
Thank you so much, Devin. I felt like I was there, and of course, he ended on that note of how heavy that these World Championships are, with the tragic passing of those 67 victims on that flight over the Potomac River. 28, like he said, were figure skaters, parents, coaches. Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov, their son Maxim Naumov, actually skated at the Legacy on Ice.
I saw that.
The fundraiser.
That was,
very, very emotional. It really hit the skating community hard. And if you want to help these families out, go to the U.S. figure skating website, and you should be able to find a link there. But yeah, definitely.
And how ironic this is the year that the club, is hosting this World Championship. So anyway, yes, it will be very emotional tomorrow.
Yes, for sure. Now, do we want to tackle what the Olympic spot math is?
So a maximum number of people that you can send to the to the Olympic Games is 3. So what has to happen is you have to finish in the top 10 to get 2, and then if you get 13, right?
Often the magic number for
the magic
total
number we
placements
say,
is
which,
13 for 3 spots.
Yeah, so it depends, and then we'll get into it's kind of a moving target. It depends what happens with the people above you, and so on and so forth. As we go on and to the different categories, let's kind of get into it a little bit then.
Yeah, I think we'll
without turning everyone off, right?
Yes, exactly. And I've been skating a long time, and this thing still confuses me. I have to research every single year. But let's get it poppin' with the pairs event.
Yes.
I think it's a very wide open but tough event. There's some really, really good teams. And one of them being the former world champions, current world champions, Maxime Deschamps and Deanna Stellato-Dudek.
So the Canadian content, we're lucky, right, in Paris, because there's 3 Paris teams that are going to be representing Canada. As you said, the reigning world champions, and then Kellyanne Laurent, Lucas Etier, and also our other team is Leah Pereira and Trent Michaud. So all of them, great teams, and especially Leah and Trent.
Yes, Leah and Trent, I think they started up a little up and down this season, but they've really found their footing. Both their programs this year are so dynamic. They finished they started the 2025 part of this season with a medal, a bronze at the 4 Continent Championship. They are slowly peaking at the perfect time for the World Championship.
And remember, their very first World Championships, I think they had only been together on something like 8 months.
6 months.
Yeah, and they ended up in 6th place. Yeah. Last year, they finished in 8th place. But remember, again, that magic number is 13. And, as far as Deanna and Max are concerned, yes, for some reason they've struggled with that free program. Can't figure that out. But I have a feeling they will be on the podium. Hard to say, though, exactly where. Like, who is your podium pick for the gold medal?
Before I say that, I will say that they finally did a good free program at 4 continents, and I'm only saying that to distract you because I don't think you're going to like my answer for gold. I have to give it to Minerva Fabian Hasse and Nikita Volodin of Germany.
Why?
They've only been together 2 seasons, just like last season. They've only lost 1 event. There they fell to the Italians, Conti and Macchi. But they are heading into this World Championship with a Grand Prix final win and a win at Europeans. And they keep getting better and better. They're so well matched. Their technical ability is very sound. That's something that's going to be very advantageous to them in the pairs event, with everybody often making a big mistake on those side-by-side jumps. And they've just been consistent. And I think that they're going to make this. big leap.
Okay,
first.
I give you the fact that they're almost always clean, but there's just no love between them, no connection on the ice, and that's why I always like the Japanese team of Riko Miura and Ryuichi Kahara. Yes, they have not been perfect this season, but the 2023 World Champions. When they get on the ice, they make me smile,
Yeah.
and I can see the connection between the two of them. But
Yes, and they've been together a longer time. Hassa and Volodin, it's only been 2 seasons. And so they're quite good at expressing outwards to the audience and the judges, I find. But you definitely feel a little bit of coldness between them, but that will grow. They
of
need
course,
time.
our heart is with the Canadians,
Of course,
though, Deanna
of course,
and Max.
of course. Yes. Deanna, Max, we love you. Repping for you. This is just for entertainment. And of course, you cannot count out, before we move on, you cannot count out the Italians, Sarah Conti, Nicola Macci. They've had a comeback year. Anastasia Metelkina and Luca Boroleva of Georgia. They're still competing junior. They actually won their second junior world
Yeah, they're
just
real
a month
talents.
ago. They got a medal at the Grand Prix final, won a Grand Prix, actually beat the Italians, so you cannot count out these teams to possibly make a mess. And like I said, it's a wide open field. Okay, now let's head on to the women's event where Queen Cowrie will go for a four-peat. For Pete. Many. She's going to be, she wants many. She wants Florida. She wants a lot.
She's got the three-peat, wants to start a new three-peat. Anyway, and there you see, of course, Amber Glenn. A lot of people, we'll get to that in a moment, think that she could be a threat to that four-peat. Only one Canadian woman, though. Wow, that's a heavy lift for Maddie Skeesis because she knows, everyone back at home, all the female skaters are going to be going, go, Maddie, go, because they want her to finish in the top 10 so that 2 women can go to the Olympic Games. And it's not impossible. And the reason I say
It's
that...
a tall order, but not impossible.
You look at her score from Skate Canada, what was it, 190? Anyway... The point is that score from Skate Canada would get her into the top 10, usually at a World Championships. But, it's been, again, an up and down season for her.
And Devin Heroux actually caught up with Madeline after her morning practices of the first day. Let's hear what she had to say and how she feels heading into these World Championships.
It was a good practice, a little early in the morning, but good. I really brought my A game this morning, I think. I had a good practice, everything, all my tech stuff was there, which is always nice on the first one.
I'm reflecting to some of our conversations in Laval where you talked about training, your relationship with training. How has it been going leading to this?
It's been a really good 3 weeks. I kind of, before Four Continents, had a bit of a down in the training, but the lead into this event has been really, really good. I've had some great monitoring sessions, I've had some great simulations, and I feel ready to compete. I've been really well trained, and no matter what happens, I know I've really given it my best go here.
Like she said, a little bit of a dip after national championships. When we saw her there, I was also there with Devin. She was training so well. She felt ready, and she delivered very good performances, except for some mistakes on some double axles. But then Four Continents happened, and she kind of lost that win.
Out of the top 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say, a lot of people don't know about this, but at Four Continents, there was a bug going around.
Yes.
Everybody was sick. Like at least 4 to 5 participants in each discipline. So very hard to compete and show up and show out when you are literally not full of fluids because they've come out of your body.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. And, fingers crossed if you're a Canadian figure skating fan that she can finish in the top 10. Yeah. Now, your pick to win the title.
Why do I always have to go first?
No, because I want... No.
I'm giving it to USA's Amber Glenn, my queer sister. You know what? I think she has been touched by Midas this year. She has won every single event this season. For Amber Glenn, that is unheard of. She is a different person this year, a different skater. That triple axel, she doesn't rent anymore. She completely owns it. We've been talking about how she's really working on her mental health, and even at nationals, she was third after the short program and narrowly beat Alyssa Sisney to reclaim her title. And I just think that she's on this great trajectory, and it would be an amazing finish to her story for this pre-Olympic season.
You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, the hometown crowd. And that can play one of two ways, depending on the type of athlete. It can make you super nervous as well. I'm sorry. Kaori Sakamoto, I know that it hasn't been, she's the, we already spoke about her, but it has been a little bit of a rocky season. She has had trouble with what is a very, very difficult free program. It's really tough. I just think that she's going to show up to this event and she finally will have it nailed. I don't know.
I agree with you. I love Queen Kaori. I hope, I'm obviously playing both sides a little bit, but I think that she is determined to win this event. Reading an article on Olympic.com, she had talked about, I didn't really think about it heading into the season, but as the Asian Games happened and she actually got beaten by Cheon Kim from Korea, she said, no, screw that noise. My determination is to be determined that I'm going to win this and guarantee the 3 spots for Japan. And, if you look at the scores, Kaori is way above Amber Glenn. But
okay, we'll talk at the end of the weekend, see what happens. Okay, ice dance. So what do you think? Canada as an embarrassment of riches, I always like to say, in this one, because we have 3 great teams.
We do have 3 great teams, Piper, Gilles Paul Poirier, Marjorie Lejoie, and Zachary Laga. And of course, Paul Ayer and Alicia Fabry make their World Championship debut. Paul and Piper are looking for that elusive gold. 2 silvers, 1 bronze, or 2 bronze, 1 silver. Yeah. Now looking for that gold. They were actually not at practice today. It was a planned skip of practice, but Devin was able to catch up with Marjorie Lejoie and Zachary Laga, who I think are potential medal contenders. Yeah. But we shall see. Let's see and hear what they feel as they head into these World Championships.
Wonderful to see you both. Maybe some first impressions of being on this ice in this wonderful venue.
It's impressive. It's a big rink. And we love to perform in front of big crowds and big ring. So I think it's going to be very excited to compete in this beautiful arena.
Zach, we saw each other in Laval the last time we talked. What has happened in your life from now to then? How has training been going, and where is the confidence level going into this?
It's okay, since last time we trained and that's it. So nothing
not much has changed.
Not much has changed. Now we're here, we're ready to go, and it's all about go full instinct.
You know what? Zach always slays me because he is so stoic off the ice. But you get that guy on the ice and I'm like, whoa. He is so full of life. He just bottles up all that emotion, that energy. And when he gets on the ice, But off the ice, he's very dry, very intellectual.
I love that. I love that dry, dark humor. Some of the things he said to us at nationals were really, really funny. I don't think we got one of the videos where he had this hilarious Chinese proverb. It had something to do with a mosquito and your crotch area.
What? Okay, that's enough. We are live, Okay, I'm going to move us on now.
Yes.
Piper and Paul, it hasn't been the greatest season. They've made uncharacteristic mistakes. Not one, but a couple. But they looked really good at 4 continents. Not only did they look good, but by the slimmest of margins, they beat the world champions, right? So I don't know. What do you think is possible?
They won by half a point, and when you look at their season's best score, they're only separated by almost half a point. So that 4 continents really reflected how tight the race is between Chalk and Bates and Piper and Paul. But I think that where Piper and Paul will take it is that if they can stay ahead of the Americans in the rhythm dance. Often they are behind them. They lose some levels on partial step sequences. So that's where it is. And of course, the Americans, Chalk and Bates, they're looking for a three-peat. They'll be the first American team to do so. But this has been an exciting year because all of these top teams, Piper and Paul, Madison and Evan, Charlene and Marco, have fallen down at major events, leading the way for new faces on top of the podium. In this case, it was Fearon Gibson from Great Britain that led the top of the field of the Grand Prix circuit and then came away with a medal at the final. And so they are going to be a team to watch to secure their first world title. Not a big fan of their free dance, but I think that they have the momentum. They always execute very well technically, and they have a charm and sense about them that everybody loves.
Yeah, the past few years it has been, Piper Paul, Madison Evan, and then Deanna Fabry, right? They've been on the podium. I think it's 13 world championships in a row for the Italians, and then Piper Paul and Madison Evan, I think it's 13.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, some new blood on the podium. Who knows? And you know what? Marjorie and Zach, maybe it's not their time yet, but they've looked great. What about the men's?
Did you give us our podium pick? Who are you choosing?
Oh,
Yeah,
who did I choose?
Who did you choose?
Oh, Piper and Paul.
We agree. Okay, Piper and Paul. I feel like this is their year. They have to skate clean, of course. They have to be very careful about their technical elements and turns. Sometimes they can get really into the program and just make little small steps. And when it comes to ice dance, it's about millimeters for a win. So.
Yeah, I think because they had so many difficulties this season, I think that this is going to be, they've saved the best for last, let's say.
I agree. Yeah. Now, the men, the big one. Let's talk about the Canadians first before we get into the international competition. Roman Sadovsky is our sole entry for this event, and Roman has not had a good year. He kind of got to Worlds because for continents they couldn't really choose after nationals. It was a mess, the men's event at nationals. So they sent it to 4 continents. He was the one who ride to the top of the crop, and now he is.
Yeah, no one seemed to want it, or everyone was having difficulty stepping forward and claiming that lone spot. And the pressure, I mean, the pressure for Roman is going to be.
Was also injured, but
yeah. The pressure is going to be immense, right?
Yes.
As far as he is concerned, because not only I think is he in a position to, of course, want to have 2 spots to next year's Olympic Games, but because he skates so inconsistently, there is a chance if he were to place and have a rough short out of the top 22, that maybe he won't even get 1 spot for Canada. There is a qualifier. No, I know. And I don't think it's going to happen, but we have to mention it because, he's a high risk, high reward kind of skater. So if he can't finish in that top 22, that would put the country in jeopardy of possibly, depending what happens in September at the last chance qualifier, of not having a man, which means Canada couldn't send a team to the Olympic Games, which would be devastating for this country. But no pressure, Roman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
You just gave me a stomach ache. Roman, don't watch this before you skate. But it's true. What you bring up is very valid and factual. He has not been consistent. His highest scores this season were back in September at his first event. And so...
But... when he's on.
When he's on,
wow.
he's on. Yes.
Yeah. Then he could finish in the top 10.
Yes.
But anyway.
It's a tall order, but not impossible. Let's move on to the international men, because this is kind of making me a little sad. Who is your podium pick for, well, not podium pick, your champion pick for the men's event?
Come on.
I know. I had
Ilia
to
Malinin of the United States.
Yes.
I mean, he just can outscore everyone. He can fall a couple times, maybe 3 times. Who knows? Maybe 4. As long as he completes the rotations. But long story short, it's hard to imagine that he would really have to fall apart for, let's say, someone like Kajiyama to be able to finish ahead of him, don't you think?
Yes, and speaking of rotation, he plans to do 7 quads in his free program.
Wow.
That means every single
Yeah.
jumping pass will have a quad in it. 5 years ago, you would not have said that, but here we are, and he almost did it at U.S. Nationals. 6 of the 7 he landed. Hard fall on the quad loop. It's the one that kind of eludes him out of his many arsenal of quads.
Yeah.
But Yuma Kajiyama, he won Japanese Nationals, but he was second at the Asian Games to Junwan Cha, but he is the closest to Ilia in
Right.
terms of maybe overtaking him. But he has talked about not including the quad lutz, which he did try the Asian Games and fell. The quad flip is still newer for him too, but he's been landing that more successfully. But I think where he can keep close to Ilia is in that short program and those skating skills. But
Yes.
he has to deliver
Yes, and that's
2
still
clean programs.
a work in progress.
Yeah.
In some ways for Ilia, he has made progress, but
Yeah.
still not where Yuma is, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
and I have to say, Ilia is not only pushing the boundaries of the technical aspects, 7 quads in a program. He does a lot of cool transitional movements, choreography. I love that reverse illusion he does at the beginning of his, I believe, short program. So he's making a name for himself, not as a powerhouse, but as a unique skater that you can gravitate to. So I always think he should get a little bit more than he's getting on his second mark, but not at Kageyama level.
Yeah.
But I always believe that a little bit more. But there are some people in the mix that may shake up some things. We have Mikhail Shadorov of Kazakhstan. He was the first Kazakhstani to win 4 continents in 10 years since the late great Dennis Ten. He also made history this year by landing the triple axel quad toe. So we have another phenom with a technical powerhouse that can really make the other men in this event shake. Adam Xiaoheng-Fa, of course, from France, up and down, but still in it. And Junwan Cha had a little bit ankle injury, continued from last year to this season, but he beat Kageyama at the Asian Games.
Right, so-
this is going to be an interesting men's event.
Yeah.
I think first
See
and
how the
solid.
podium fills out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some ice dance news. This is very interesting. Lawrence Fournier-Baudry, whose partner, Nikolai Sorensen, was banned for 6 years, has decided that she will now skate with Guillaume Cizeron, who's a world and Olympic champion. Last couple of years has not been skating, but what an interesting pair. I can't wait to see them perform for the first time, but they're not at Worlds. They will compete for France, apparently. And I'm wondering, I can't imagine that Guillaume's coming back just for the fun of it. I think that, he would have the Olympics in mind, but in order to compete for France at the Olympics, Laurence, who is Canadian, will need her French citizenship and need it within the next little while. So I'm curious to see if she'll get that.
That's
that could
a very
shake
interesting
up.
perspective. I didn't think about that. I'm like, okay, they're going to compete. I didn't think that they would have Olympics in mind, but of course, you're an Olympic champion. You want to get in there
Right.
while you go for the next 4 years. I'm wondering what the process of that is, and there has been a little bit of interesting things too. Seeing his former partner Gabriela Papadakis, she posted on Instagram kind of a little bit of a cryptic message, maybe not so happy about it, which was a little just put my ears up because I thought
Right.
they ended on good terms and they both announced their retirement. But I'm excited to see Guillaume skate again. They've been working with Stéphane Lambiel as a choreographer. This whole saga has been
Right.
with Lawrence Fournier has been.
So it's nice to see
jarring.
her get
Yes,
a
it's nice
second
see her
chance to
get a
skate
second
now.
chance skating, yeah.
There's lots of places that you can watch us over the next week, right?
Yes, you can catch everything on CBC Gem. You will watch Brenda, Kurt, my former coach, Carol Lane, talking all things figure skating through the live events. And then, of course, I will be back doing recaps throughout the week with Devin Heroux, I think Thursday and Saturday. And it's just going to be all things figure skating, Olympic jitters.
Can't wait till it gets started. It's going to be fun. And I'll check back with you on your picks.
You owe me a beer if I get more than you. Right.
Yeah, okay, sure. Whatever.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that's it from us so far. Make sure to watch CBC Gem. All the figure skating will be there, CBC Sports, and of course, come back to here for that figure skating show. Let's have a great time. Good luck to everybody in Boston, and thank you, my peoples.